SHS is here to stay. Hi, lovely people of Ghana. It's your Nigerian Girl Pleasure bringing you political news in our channel in Akomatike. Some students have composed a very wonderful song for this present government because of how they've enjoyed and how they are happy about this free SHS. Please watch. Seeing how happy these students are, you understand that indeed free HSS is really blowing the mind of people, and it is really removing fear of them dropping out of school, and it is giving them the mind and the morale to go back to school. You understand that actually it is the poor parents that will actually understand the benefit of this, because according to them, to get education just because this government has decided to give them this education is mind-blowing. The burden has been lifted from the parents, from the shoulder of these parents. And yes, I know some of the rich people might not really understand what this means to the poor masses. Free HSS is really here to stay. And they've come out to say, God bless President Addo and Dr. Bawumia for ever bringing in this free SHS and even conceiving it and making it to come to stay.
First of all, did you say free SHS should be reviewed? The NDC people say you said reviewed, Muhammad said reviewed.
Where did I say that?
You didn't say that?
No, we've released 2 videos, one in Twi, one in English. Never said that in it. We've released a statement in which we had outlined what happened at the cabinet retreat and what Ghanaians should look forward to. We never said that. I've granted a number of interviews. I've never said that anywhere. I think sometimes...
Did you say some programs should be reviewed?
No, I've not said anything of that sort.
You didn't say that out of Pedro, you're going to review programs.
No. You would notice that for all some of the people write and tweet and share, they will not be able to find a video and audio that actually has me saying that in it. And that's the game that people play in our media space these days.
But that's serious.
You say
didn't
one
say that
thing,
at all.
I haven't said anything. You say one thing, and then they'll write another headline about it. And a lot of people don't bother to read the story or bother to read the quotation of what you said. So whatever narrative somebody may have skewed on top of it is what they carry. What we have said is quite clear. 1, the borders are going to be opened. 2, we are in an era of fiscal consolidation. That means that we want to raise some more revenue and as much as possible cut expenses so that we can achieve our deficit of 7.4%, which we've targeted for year 2022. Why? Because we have agreed as a country that never again should we go beyond 5% deficit without parliamentary approval.
With the propaganda going on, some persons have come out to deny that, yes, they didn't say free SHS should be reviewed because so many persons are really enjoying this benefit of this government. They are coming out to give their testimony one after the other, how this free SHS has really improved their life, giving them confidence, remove fear from their body, and giving them the zeal to go back to school.
Yeah, so the rule of thumb is that we should not go beyond 5% of GDP. That's the healthy deficit year on year. When you do that, you don't pile up too much debt higher than the rate at which the economy is growing. And if you are growing on an average 6-7% as the MPP government has been doing, then even when your deficit is growing around 5% year on year, you are still within bounds, you can contain it. But in years when you have difficulty, you go to Parliament and make a case for the suspension of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, which is an act that the MPP government brought to play. Remember, the NDC ran this economy with sometimes double-digit deficits, got to a point where they could not contain it, went to the IMF that we're out of ideas, give us some money and some what they call policy credibility before we can find our way around this. This was, I think, between 2014 or so before we came to power. And as a result, when we came, we said never again should the deficit go beyond 5% without parliamentary approval. Now, in the COVID year, 2020, revenues were not happening. You just play Joe Biden. It's not just America or Ghana. It's every economy in the world.
You know what Egypt are doing? They've capped the price of bread. Because of the wheat situation, their dependence on wheat from Ukraine.
And as a result, various countries are employing various interventions to try and mitigate the impact of the global economic changes on their local economy. So here in Ghana, one of the things that you want to do is to ensure that our budget doesn't get out of hand. Yeah. And one of the ways to do that is to ensure that fiscal discipline is maintained, not more than 5% by 2 years' time, because we're coming from an expansion of the deficit because of the COVID difficulties a couple of years ago. So this year, 7.4. 7.4 means that you've got to, as much as possible, cut expenses where you can cut, even as you try to raise revenue, so that next year you can come down to 6, the following year you can go down to 5. Cutting means, and this is what I've said, that from the very top to the very bottom, from the office of the president down through ministries, departments, and agencies, the 16 flagship programs of government, we're going to look across and examine whichever one can experience some cuts that will still allow us to deliver as much of that program as possible. We're happy to do it. I don't know where people go.
Will that include free SHS? Could that include free SHS? I have
said, and I remain on that point, that from the office of the president, through every ministry, department, agency, across the 16 programs, the 16 flagship programs, we're going to examine and see where we can make budget cuts. Saying that does not mean that the president plans to cancel free SHS or to, in the words that I think some people like to use, they put that word, they review free SHS. No, and I think we've been very clear that what we are looking at are budget cuts. And I've even gone further to say that should it happen that after the discussions and after the engagements, the executive is taking a pay cut, I think that the legislature should also look at a pay cut and have a conversation among itself that, okay, if this is what is going on and this is how the executive is looking to cut salaries by X% voluntarily so that we can, save some more fiscal space. Maybe we, members of parliament, and I'll be happy to move a motion on that in parliament, maybe we, members of parliament, should also consider taking a pay cut so that we can also help to contribute to what we are seeking to do. That is what then gives you the moral right to ask anybody else in the economy to take a cut on whatever projects or whatever activities.
The Minister for Information has come out to explain what he means by reviewing the free SHS. He has come out to say that he didn't quote any of these things and he didn't mention any of these things. Just that people are trying to instigate and drag him or say so many things he didn't say. That he has just said that everything from the cabinet should be reviewed and nothing has to do with free HSS.
That we're going to go on in their areas.
But that means you can't tell us whether free SHS will be part of it or not.
I have said everything is fair to be examined.
Including free SHS.
Including free SHS. But saying that does not mean that free SHS is going to be cancelled. I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah, I get it. But then it raises nerves of people whose children are in school.
And it is fair. It is fair. It is fair for their nerves to be raised. It is fair for their nerves to be raised because we have to raise revenues to do all the things we want. We are living in a country where we want a lot of things legitimately from government. And that's fair. It is our right to demand things from government. But it is also our responsibility to ensure that the various things that we must do to ensure that contribution of resources into the treasury, to be able to feed the various things we are looking for, our roads, our bridges, our flagship programs, salaries of government workers, the activities that are going on in ministries, departments, and agencies are funded. So, I mean, it's okay for people to feel jittery about that.
People are going to feel jittery.
Yes, but of course, then we have an opportunity.
Because they also know that
we have an opportunity to examine our various contributions.
School feeding has been suspended. So it's sort of...
School feeding has not been suspended. That is, again, another... You see, there's something going on in our media space where people, I think sometimes, just pick half of the statement and throw a story. When the minister goes to parliament and says that the planned expansion of school feeding program has been suspended, you find media houses reporting that school feeding program has been suspended.
Is that what the minister said?
That's what the minister said. You can ask.
Forgive me, I'm guilty. I didn't read it.
No, because
I'm guilty.
Because people have found
and I've shared that information with a lot of friends of mine. People have called me from abroad and said, why are you suspending
school? People have found out that a lot of people won't read the full detail, won't read the quotation, won't listen to the audio, won't watch the video. So what they do is that they write some of these headlines, throw it.
But these are from respectable sort of portals.
But this is the game in which we are now. So
school feeding has not been suspended.
It has not been suspended.
Are you serious?
What the minister said on the floor of parliament is that the planned expansion.
So this morning students were fed. Yesterday they were
You
fed.
can check. You have reporters here. You can check. It's suspended.
Are you serious?
But this is why we are saying that people should take time and responsibility on themselves to read.
No, we trust
full
what
text.
we see.
We are not in an era where you can trust headlines you see. You got to read
Even
it.
from respectable
You
portals.
have to read it. You have to sometimes listen to the audio yourself, watch the video yourself, because if you don't take care, they will take things out of context. That's what the caretaker minister for gender and social protection said. So when I heard it at first, I called her. I'm like, Minister, did you say this? He says no. I said the planned expansion. You can get the tape. We check the tape. She's talking about the planned expansion. That is what has been suspended because of all of these conversations we're having. That there are fiscal constraints, so you can't continue doing everything that you had programmed to do. I mean, I know people in private institutions whose salaries were delayed because of COVID.
Please do well to like, comment, follow, put on your notification bell so you get all our updates one by one. Thanks, my people.